Hey crafter, I'm Amanda. Thank you for joining me here at my channel Craft is Autonomous, where I give you the knowledge and skills to craft it yourself. Today I'm going to teach you how to wood burn this adorable little bee. So if you're not familiar with wood burning, I have only recently just got into this. However, I've owned this wood burner. This is the Walnut Hollow off of Amazon. I'll link it down below. It comes with 4 different removable tips, and I'm doing a review video on it coming soon, so make sure you watch that when that comes out. But I've actually had this for probably like 5 years. I've burned everything but wood with the wood burner. But I finally got into it. It's super fun. It's a little different than what I was expecting, but it's definitely worth getting into. The hardest part for me is it's kind of like drawing or sketching, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wood burn. But the question is always, what do I actually wood burn? Well, while playing around, I came up with an adorable little bee, so I'm gonna teach you how to do that, so you have something that you can wood burn. So as we get started here, the first thing you want to do is prepare your work surface and also get the wood burner heating up. So what I like to do with the wood burner is I just have this towel thing that I crocheted. You can put hot pads down, and then I put a cookie sheet on top of it. This is one that I use for crafting, by the way. I don't cook on this thing. But this way I have a surface that I can just drop my wood burner onto and not have to worry about it being a flame hazard. This wood burner does come with a little kickstand. Sometimes when I set it down, I put it on the kickstand. Sometimes I just set it on the pan. Either way, you want to be very careful and very aware of your surroundings and where you're putting the wood burner, because like as I put my hand over here, it's very hot. Second thing I like to do is I like to get a random towel, make it damp, and have it sitting here, so that way if I get, wood burn and things building up on the tip of the wood burner, I can just wipe it off. Last of all we need is our piece of wood. I did some reading on this online. Everybody says plywood works the best, and I've tried a couple different things, and yes, plywood does work really well. Last thing we need to cover is which tip I have on. As I said, this Walnut Hollow one comes with several removable tips. I have this one that's kind of like, it comes to a point, almost like a triangle. That's what I'm going to be using today. If you've never wood burned before, spend a little bit of time on a scrap piece of wood just playing around with it. Wood burning, you want to go slow, and how fast or slow you go depends on how deep or lightly you burn it. So if you see it's like a really slow here, it gets really dark. But if it's just a quick little brush, I'm barely burning the wood at all. So our honeybee has 4 parts. We have the body, the head, the wings, and the antennas. Let's start with the body. The body, I'm going to just do a little back and forth motion. So I'm going to put the wood burner down like this and pull it back and forth. And notice I'm going really quickly and lightly, almost like I'm just drawing on here. I'm not going slow and burning it. I'm just going really quickly back and forth. So I practice doing this motion before you start to burn the body of your bee. But once you practice this motion, we're going to do it back and forth and burn the bee shape. So here's how we're going to burn the body of the bee. Our tip down. We're going to start kind of narrow, and with each pass we're going to go a little wider to kind of round out our honeybee. And I might come back up here and go a little wider there as well, just to get it to look even. Once I get my honeybee body the length I want, I'm going to slow down and come narrower, and then pull it into a point and add that little stinger. So this one's a little lopsided, so I can come back up and just fill it in. Again, we're moving really quickly here, much faster than we do at the base of the body. And basically, we end up sitting at the edges just a little bit longer, so that's kind of creating that border. And then we really slow down and just pull into a point here at the end to create the stinger. Do that whole process again in another section of my wood. Go back and forth kind of quickly. Each time I go back and forth, I'm getting a little wider. Now once it's the length I want, I'm going to come narrower, slow down a little bit, and then pull it into a point. Just like that. And it doesn't have to look perfect. This can take a couple tries. But play around with that until you get the feel for it. Once you have your body in place, we're going to add the head. So the head, we're going to, instead of dragging our wood burner, we're going to just touch down and make little dots. So I'm going to kind of go straight up and down. I'll show you up here. I'm just going to go press, press. And the longer I press, the bigger and darker my dots will be. So if I go really light, it barely gets it. But if I press on one for a real long time, they'll get really big. So for the head, we're going to actually make it look 3D by the size of our dots. We're going to do this bottom left side of the circle. We're going to go slowly, holding the wood burner down there for a long time to make it darker. And then in this section up here where we kind of want to create the highlight, we're going to just barely touch it really lightly. So what I like to do first is map out my circle shape. just to get the size of my head. Once I've done that, in this side down here, I'm gonna go really slow and do some bigger dots. You can even let the dots overlap each other. We're kind of doing a crescent moon shape of these darker dots. We'll pull it up a little bit further. Now we're gonna do some medium dots along this opposite side here, so I'm just gonna quickly lightly tap. See how it's filled in, it gets a little darker looking, but the dots aren't as big as we did first of all. And we'll do some right along there, kind of making a circle here almost. Now right here, I'm just going to quickly tap a couple times. You can of course make your edge darker by holding it down for longer with each dot. Kind of like shading in a circle with a pencil. Just to get your darks and lights is determined by how long you leave the wood burner there versus how much you color it in. Do that again on our other body. I'm going to start by just doing a quick circle to map out the size of my head. Then along the bottom left side, I'm going to press harder and leave it down longer to create those bigger dots. I'm going to do that in this crescent moon shape along the bottom left-hand side, making it darker at the edges and lighter as I come in. Once that, I'm going to do kind of like a big circle here of just lighter, not pressing down as hard or for as long. Just slowly building up the darkness. I'll fill in the little center there with just a little bit, leave it kind of blank. Give a really nice highlighted looking piece. Come back here, I'll make this look even more darker. So we're just gonna press down, just creating these dots. More dots and bigger dots create shadows, less dots, narrower dots create the highlights. And once you're happy with how it looks, of course you can stop at that point. Next we have to add the antennas. The antennas are really fun and they're probably a little bit easy to do. I'm going to come above my head and I'm basically just going to, I'll show you up here first before I do it to our honeybee. I'm going to press down. You see, you might see some smoke coming up there. I don't know if the camera caught that or not. I'm just going to press down and create really round, large dots. That's what I'm going to do right down here for my honeybee. So I'm just going to start by creating 2 dots, one for each antenna. Once I have those in place and I have them the size I want them to be, I'm going to come to the dot and I'm going to pull towards the head. So like here, I would just go pull really quick, pull really quick. So again, you can practice that on other sections of the board before you do it actually on your honeybee. You go pull really quick, pull really quick. Creates my antenna, so I'll show you that again. Come down here, I'm going to press long and hard to create my dot there. The tip's getting built up a little bit, so this is where I might take my rag and just lightly clean it off on my damp rag. Make sure your rag is damp when you do that. So the antenna, we're just going to press down. Now we're going to draw the antennas themselves in by just quick drag. Create a really fine thin line. Last thing we want to create is the wings of our bee. So for this, I'm going to just lightly draw really quick, almost like you're sketching with a pencil. So a lot of times when we do wood burning, you do long, slow stretches like this. We don't want to do that. We want to go quick like this to create a nice light area. Like you can see how much lighter that is. So moving it quickly, I'm going to trace out the curve of my first wing. And the curve of my second wing. And those wings are really lopsided. If you're not good at like sketching, like which I'm not, you're probably realizing that, you can get a pencil first and trace out your wing so you can get it to look right and then actually burn it. All right, so once you have your outline of your wings drawn, we're just gonna go through and we're gonna add some veining. So we're just gonna, again, keep moving with this really quick, light movement. Almost like you might like do like a leaf or something. Try to vein it off a whole bunch so that way it looks kind of random. If you want to get super technical, you can look up an actual picture of a real bee wing and do it exactly the way it would look in real life. I'm doing mine a little bit more artsy, in kind of a lazy way, really, is what I mean by artsy. And that's our honeybee. So I'll show you the wings one more time on our second one here. Just quickly trace and draw out the wing again. If you're not good at just sketching freehand, trace it out with the pencil first and then burn over it as a guide. Again, I'm just moving really quick. We're drawing the veins of the bee wing. And that's all there is to it, to creating this simple wood burn bee. And of course, with practice, you can get your shading in the head better. You can also incorporate shading in the body. This one, the reason it's lighter on this side and darker on that side is because when I pulled this way, I start at the left hand going slow, fast right, slow left, fast right, slow left. And so that's how it created that kind of lighter highlight section there. But even if you're just going back and forth at the same speed, it'll still turn out super cute. You can wood burn your own honeybee. So that is our intro to wood burning, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. So the thing with wood burning is, the good news is if you had a hard time with this, you can only get better. It's kind of, I guess you can't really get worse, you know. As you do it more, you're only gonna get better. As you can see, some of my things look kind of cool and some of them look really dumb. Can we talk about that mouse, rat, whatever weird thing that is? But you know, you can do some things like this where you create different textures by how you burn. This was just a little free thing I did just now because I was like, oh, I don't want to turn my wood burner off yet. But even if all this other stuff is garbage, at least I think the bee looks kind of cute, you know? So I at least have something going for me. But anyway, stick with wood burning, give it a try. Let me know what you guys think and how this project turns out for you. And also let me know what you're going to use this on. I have a couple ideas of like things I want to actually wood burn or make some signs. So I might use the bee on some of those. I don't actually know. We'll see if I actually get to them or not. But before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell notification. And you have to like check off all the things because YouTube doesn't actually know how to make their bell notification thing work. So make sure you click that and then check to turn on all the notifications so that way you actually do get notified when I post new content. But I guess I'll be wood burning, and I hope you all have a happy time crafting.